Today, we're diving into Series 7 of the BrickLink Designer Program, which is going live for pre-orders on the 16th of February. I'll be explaining what the BrickLink Designer Program actually is, how the pre-order process works, and of course, I'll give you my honest thoughts on each of the 5 sets that are coming up this time around. And spoiler alert, I'll probably only be picking up 2 of them this time, I think. So let's get into it, starting with the most frequently asked question. What actually is the BrickLink Designer Program? And if you already know, you can skip forward to the timestamp on screen for the bit where I'm actually talking about the actual sets. But if you've never taken part in the BrickLink Designer Program before, or maybe you've heard the name floating around, but never quite figured out what it is, let me break it down for you quickly. Put simply, the BrickLink Designer Program is a collaboration between LEGO and BrickLink. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, BrickLink is actually owned by LEGO. They bought it back in 2019. So this isn't some weird third-party thing. It is all completely legit. The parts come from LEGO. The quality control is LEGO. The packaging is LEGO. It's just the designs that come from fans. And that's really the heart of the program. These are sets created by fans. People like you and me, but, you know, talented, who submit their original designs. Then LEGO puts a handful of them up for crowdfunding. If a set gets enough pre-orders, LEGO actually manufactures it and then ships it out. It's real LEGO, real boxes, real builds, just born from the community rather than the official LEGO design team. It's kind of like LEGO ideas, but instead of voting on them, I guess you're voting with your wallet. And the pre-order process is pretty straightforward, but timing on it is everything. Pre-orders for Series 7 open on the 16th of February at 4 p.m. UK time. That's the day you want to mark in your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, maybe even rope in a friend to help you click refresh because it does get busy. Sets do sometimes sell out depending on how popular they are. Each of the 5 sets will be available to pre-order for a week or until they sell out. To actually go into production, a set needs to hit a minimum of 3,000 pre-orders, which so far they always have. Once it hits that threshold, it's locked in and LEGO will produce it. On the flip side, there's also a cap. No more than 30,000 copies of each set will be made. Although in recent pre-order periods, it's actually become a little more flexible than that, with LEGO now operating a real-time production allocation system, where it's actually an overall limit of 150,000 sets. So if one is way more or less popular than the others, some of their 30,000 allocation can be moved across to one of the other sets to increase the number there. What this means in practice is, unlike with some of the early series, we're not really seeing individual sets sell out anymore during the pre-order period. Instead, you probably have the week to decide at your leisure which ones you want to pick up. Although I'm not sure I'm brave enough to avoid ordering at the earliest opportunity. You can order up to 2 copies of each set per household, which helps prevent scalping and gives more people a chance to get their hands on them. And it's also worth noting that you're not charged right away. You'll only be charged when the set is actually ready to ship, which for Series 7 is expected to be sometime around October of 2026. Although depending on how you order, there may be a hold put on your card for the amount of your order for a few days before that money's released back to you. I get around that by ordering through PayPal, who don't take any money, even temporarily, until dispatch. But regardless of your payment method, you're going to be waiting a while to get your sets. That's how the BrickLink Designer Program works. You back it now, and then a few months later, a surprise LEGO box shows up at your door. It's like getting multiple LEGO Christmases a year. Now, on to the sets themselves. This wave has 5 sets in total, and I've got to be honest with you, this is probably the weakest series we've had so far, at least for me and my particular tastes. There's nothing here that I hate, but there's also only 1 or 2 I'm genuinely excited for, and overall, it just doesn't feel as strong as previous rounds. That said, I'll go through them one by one and tell you what I like, what I don't, and which ones I'll be pre-ordering. And let's start with the biggest set in the lineup, the Privateer Frigate Fortuna at $319.99. This is a monster of a ship, over 4,000 pieces, and it comes with 20 minifigures. It's a full-on 18th century sailing vessel with detailed rigging, rows of cannons, and a brick-built hull. It is a serious build, and it does look incredible. The designer has clearly poured a huge amount of effort into capturing the classic warship feel. I'm a big fan of the LEGO Pirates theme, and I've owned a few ships in my time, and this honestly might be the most detailed one we've seen in a long while. But even so, I'm probably not getting it. As much as I love how it looks, I just don't have the space. This thing is huge. And I know full well that I just don't have a shelf or even a table where I could actually put it. It would just end up sitting in the box, and that's just not how I like to collect. So even though it's gorgeous, and I'm sure some of you will be all over it, it's a no from me, reluctantly. Next up is the smallest set in the lineup, and that's W.A.L.T. He's a little robot, kind of retro, kind of cute, with big expressive eyes and posable limbs. He's made up of 654 pieces, and he comes in at a really affordable price point. He's just $34.99 in the UK. There's no minifigures, no play features. He's just a fun, displayable little buddy that you can stick on your desk. And I do think W.A.L.T is fun. I like him. But I also think this is kind of a missed opportunity. In past series, the cheap slot has had some really fun city-compatible builds. We've had the snack shack, the camping trailer, the popcorn wagon, little builds with tons of character that you could slot straight into your Lego city. And W.A.L.T doesn't really offer that. He's fun, sure, but he just doesn't go anywhere in my layout. He's kind of his own thing. I might still pick one up because he's cheap, and let's be honest, I am probably going to end up liking him more than I expect. But I do feel like this could have been something a little more versatile. But now we are talking. The sushi restaurant is hands down my favourite in this wave. This thing just looks so good. It's $249.99, over 3,600 pieces, 14 minifigures, and it is packed with detail. You've got the restaurant itself, which is already a beautiful modular style building, but then you've also got this little street scene with a tram and overhead lines. Stick a tram on anything and I'm yours. The signage is great, the interior's furnished, and the colours are vibrant without being over the top. And what I love most is how easily this will fit into my Lego city. It's got that narrow urban vibe that reminds me of some of the best modulars, but with a Japanese twist that we just don't get nearly enough of. And it's just so full of life. This one will be in my city within a few days of it arriving. It's one of the Lego sets I'm most looking forward to this year as a whole, not just BrickLink, but all of Lego. And as a bonus, it's also Anna's favourite set in the series too. She loves a bit of Japanese theming, and the little details, the tram, the aesthetic, we're both 100% on board for this one. I am absolutely pre-ordering it, possibly even one each. But then we have the antique collection, and I just don't really get this one. It's just a bit of an oddball, although I do think it's probably going to have its fans. It's a display cabinet, a sort of vintage shelf filled with mini builds. You've got a globe, a lamp, a little phonograph, a stack of books, that kind of thing. It's about 1,500 pieces, and you do get a couple of minifigures, but they're more decorative than functional. Personally, this one just doesn't do it for me. It's not minifigure scale, so I can't use it in the city. And it's not something I'd put on a shelf and display. It reminds me of the Books Are My Passion gift with purchase Lego did a while back. And I know a lot of people love that, and it was a lovely free gift, but not something I'd pay a lot of money for. And this set is the same, and they're asking $99.99 for it. All that said, Anna absolutely loved it. She saw it and immediately said, "Oh, that's mine." So I guess this is one of those sets that speaks to a different kind of builder. Not everything has to be modular buildings or castles, apparently. This one's clearly going for that aesthetic, decorative crowd, and that's totally valid. But yeah, it's a pass for me. And then last but definitely not least, we have the Alchemist shop. And this is the other set that I'll be pre-ordering for sure. It's a medieval style building, sort of fantasy apothecary, with over 2,300 pieces and 9 minifigures, and at $179.99 feels like great value. It's packed with detail. There's potion bottles, scrolls, tools, a fireplace, and that gorgeous medieval architecture. It reminds me a lot of the LEGO Ideas medieval blacksmith set, and I think the two of them will look amazing side by side in the medieval section of the city. I love this kind of build. It's grounded in a specific theme, but it's not so fantastical that you can't integrate it into a realistic setting if you want to. It's charming, it's unique, and it looks like it's going to be a really satisfying build as well. Plus, it is a great excuse to expand the medieval section of my layout, which always needs more buildings that aren't grey. And that's Series 7. Like I said at the start, not the strongest lineup we've ever seen, but there are still some gems in there. I'll definitely be picking up the Sushi restaurant and the Alchemist shop. W.A.L.T's a maybe as well. The ship and the antique shelf are passes for me, but I'm sure plenty of people will love them. And the main thing to remember is that pre-orders go live on the 16th of February at 4 p.m. UK time, and they'll only be open for about a week or until the sets sell out. So if something here has caught your eye, don't wait too long. Let me know down in the comments which sets you're backing this time. Are you going for the full wave? Are you holding out just for one of them? I always love hearing what other people are excited about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.